What happened to one limb hurts, the entire body hurts? What merit is there in an ummah of this size if we don't help each other? A sister has no problem DMing men that are married, but when a brother DMs her, because he is not a famous speaker, he is ridiculed and castrated. The famous speakers don't practice what they preach, that when a brother reaches out to them, he is ignored. Denying marriage when the youth comes to you asking for help, electing to sit on your rear, fiddling your thumbs, regurgitating zina is haram, but all you're doing is making zina accessible as marriage has become an obstacle course. The youth will take matters into their own hands, start dating, getting pregnant, having abortions. Then we turn around with a surprised Pikachu face wondering why the youth is leaving Islam. Fast, brother, work out, brother, chase the bag, brother. We were not created to be celibate. If we were, then we wouldn't be here today. Unless you believe that we came from fish, but that's a topic in its own right. We are not better than Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, who married women. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was married before prophethood. We cannot do things alone. We are not God. We are human beings that were created in pairs, illustrating that we cannot go about this life alone. Chase the bag that he gets married at 40, then is shamed for marrying a younger woman. He is shamed for marrying multiple women. He tried marrying his age way back when, but you were too busy rejecting proposals, being a girl boss, focusing on school and your career. You made your bed, now lie in it. You lost your value as a woman. You can't be making such demands as no polygyny at 30 plus. When you were 18, then sure, maybe a guy would accept no polygyny, but at 30 plus, that ship has sailed. The longer a woman waits to get married, her value goes down. The longer a man waits to get married, his value goes up, as he is channeling all that frustration, all that rejection into something positive, something meaningful. Sisters talk about marriage as if it's a surefire thing, that marriage is guaranteed for them. Oh, I'm 21, I'll get married later, I'll have children later. Then later happens and they are still not married. Everyone around her is getting married and having children, but hey, at least she has her degree and job. Mind you, no hijab or modest clothing of any kind, and neglecting her prayer. And how could she, placing herself in compromising situations, influenced by her environment, keeping bad company? Not to mention the debt she is in from taking interest-based loans to get a piece of paper saying she majored in philosophy, starting an OnlyFans, selling lewd pictures of herself to make a quick buck to pay off her debt, resorting to dildos as she doesn't need no man. She's an independent woman. She's a hashtag girl boss. Vaginal penetration means you have to take a shower. That is, if you want to be in a state of purity to observe your 5 daily prayers. But congratulations, you lost your virginity to a piece of plastic. Rather than completing your deen, getting rewarded for having intimacy, even if you do get married, he won't be able to satisfy you, as now you have unrealistic expectations compared to the toys you use. No one is going to wait for you, sister. If you receive a proposal and his religion and character satisfy you, then you should accept it. Then you will be the woman that was with him on his climb to the top, and you can say that you were supporting him the entire time. You want to talk about Khadija? Fine, let's talk about Khadija. She invested in Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. She supported Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. She respected Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. She bore his children and raised them, all before he became Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Khadija married Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, because his character satisfied her, not because he was a prophet, not because of his bank account, not because of how many camels he owned, but that he was an honest and hardworking man, peace be upon him. Fasting is not the solution, it is a placeholder, a temporary fix. Going to the gym surrounded by women half naked, shaking their rear is not the solution. Marriage is the solution. Marriage is simply having witnesses, making a man and woman lawful to each other, differentiating it from dating. Nothing more, nothing less. Marriage is not something difficult or extravagant. We make marriage those things, despite that Allah does not like extravagance, and that the sunnah is to make marriage as easy as possible. It is the parents' responsibility to facilitate the marriage contract in order to protect their children. Marriage, however, is being neglected, deprioritized for a degree. Husband and wife don't need to move in together immediately. They can take things slow and enjoy themselves. Husband and wife can work out together. She doesn't need to go to the gym covered head to toe. She can dress like all those women in the gym for her husband alone. He doesn't need to expose his V-line and thighs, posing selfies online for random women. He can pose and flex for his wife alone. They don't need to rush having children. Children are a big responsibility and a trust from Allah. It is their job to raise their children, not the state. Homeschooling allows children to learn at their own pace, avoid peer pressure and ridicule. There are sports, Friday congregation, Ramadan, Eid al-Fitr, and Eid al-Adha when it comes to socializing. These are our only holidays to be celebrated as Muslims. By giving our children a solid foundation how to navigate this life, it protects them and is invaluable for their development rather than throwing them in the deep end to figure things out on their own, then wondering why our children left Islam. Rushing to get children is not conducive, as then it turns out husband and wife weren't compatible, and now the children come from a divorced household. Divorce is at an all-time high because both men and women don't know their responsibilities, as they're too busy learning Y equals mx plus b and the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. We have Muslim sisters not obeying their husband and Muslim brothers not being the caretakers over women. The same way we obey our parents, wives' responsibility is to obey their husband. This is at the micro level. At the macro level, we as Muslims are to obey the ruler. We cannot obey Allah if we don't obey those in authority among us. As long as it's not disobedience to Allah, then we are to obey. What good has come from disobedience in the Middle East? Displacement of families, destruction of homes, dissolution of states. These countries are unrecognizable since the Arab Spring, at least before people were able to practice their religion safely. That's where it starts, at the micro, with the individual. You practice your religion first before inciting violence and rebellion to quote-unquote establish a Khalifa. And why do you want a Khalifa? So you can kill him too? The Khawarij accused Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, of being unfair himself. The Khawarij killed the Rashidun, the four great caliphs. There is no pleasing these people. They do not care about the kalima and the deen of Allah whatsoever. All they want is political power, hiding behind the deen of Allah, making a mockery of Allah and His Messenger, peace be upon him. Chess and watching the news are no different than video games. All forms of media are entertainment. Books, Arabic soap operas, and the Weather Channel are all forms of distraction. Video games, however, teach time management skills, communication skills, and problem-solving skills. Chess is the original video game. All video games are based off of chess in one way or another. Like movies and TV shows, there are video games that should be rejected and avoided, but there are video games that don't include obscenities and degeneracy, as long as what is required is being fulfilled, like the 5 daily prayers, and video games are not taking precedence over other obligations, like one's responsibilities to others, then there is no problem. Video games can also lead to career opportunities, turning what once was a hobby into a monetary source of income. The alternative is marriage, and as that seems to be neglected and deprioritized, video games allow men an outlet other than zina. Can't talk to girls, can't masturbate, can't watch porn, can't play video games, can't get married, just go to school, get a degree, get a job, get a car, get a house, everything on your own, does not complete your deen, but are expected to remain Muslim throughout the entirety of all this nonsense. Don't be surprised when your children leave Islam or start dating, having a boyfriend and girlfriend, pregnant, getting abortions, all because you are denying the youth to get married.